what's up, gamers? I just wanted to make a quick note that I am really sorry for that this chapter 3 of Buried has been literally all over the place. It's just because it was such a long recording I had to cut it down, and I'm really sorry that it's so much of a mess and that I have to keep putting these little intros and outro parts in, always apologizing and all this other shit, and I'm really sorry for that. It's just, I feel like I've let you down a lot on this series. I'm actually kind of disappointed in myself. But hopefully this holidays I'm going to get more stuff up. If not, I'm going to be recording more stuff so that I can get it up. And my reviews, they'll get there, but I'll probably do a vlog later on in the week explaining all the stuff that's going on at the moment. But anyway, thank you guys, and I hope you enjoy this video. Violent gravity.
The small utility hallway is well lit. It looks as if it was designed to only be used by selected maintenance workers. What goes on in this area, I ask. I'm looking at Marcus as I ask the question, but he only shrugs in response. She might know, he replies, pointing at Amy. I've never been down here before. It's just a utility hallway, Amy says, but at the end of here there is a maintenance room. We should get a gun or two in there. It's also the most direct path to the hangar entrance. As we walk quickly and quietly down the hall, I make a glimpse ahead and feel the hair on the back of my neck stand on end. The lights become more sparsely spaced, and it's impossible to see how far the hall extends into the darkness. This hallway has the occasional trace of bloodshed, but nothing like the main area we've come from. We continue further down the hall, and just as I begin to see what it looks like, a large metal door God damn it. We continue farther down, and just as I begin to see what looks like a large metal door ahead, I hear yet another shrill sound. This one sounds further away, but no less demonic. How many of these things did you see? Dennis asks Amy. 3, but that's just what I saw. There could be more. What did they look like? Dennis asks. Knowing what we're dealing with is very important. I don't even know how to explain them, she says. Monsters. That's the only word I can think of. My mind seemed to struggle with trying to understand what I was seeing. They're big. They seem to jerk about every 3 feet or so. They look like they're made of light, and that's all I know for sure. I know. My ex-husband always said I'd let my work kill me, she continues, seemingly unable to stop herself. I mean, I doubt he imagined this exact scenario, but still. As we make our way down the hangar doors, another high-pitched noise rings out. Angrier now. Amy stops walking, causing all of us to stop and turn to her. We have to do something to slow those things down, she says. No, Marcus snaps. There's no time. We need to distance ourselves and get the hangar fast. Amy ignores him, deep in thought. There's an old hydraulic door set into the wall right here, she says. It hasn't been used for years, though. She looks at me, pleading her case. Together, we might be able to pull it closed behind us to keep those things back. Those old hydraulic doors weigh a ton, Marcus says. There's no way it'll work. Roger, Amy says. What do you think? They'll have a harder time getting to us if these doors are locked. Look, Marcus shouts, turning to me. We need to get to the hangar, now. Closing the doors seems like a decent enough answer. Like, they haven't moved to the second floor where we were yet. They haven't, we don't know if they've moved down floors. But stopping them, it doesn't seem like they can go through stuff yet. Oh, I take that back, actually. But we're going to stop and close the doors first. You decide to try and close the doors. Damn it, Marcus says. We don't have time for this. Amy ignores him and starts feeling along the wall for a groove. Dennis and I start looking as well. A minute passes, and then I see a small metal frame that runs from the floor to the ceiling. Is that it? I ask. Yes, Amy says. I look to the floor and see an old metal track that runs along the frame. Let's move it, I say, Amy. Amy, Dennis, and I start pulling as hard as we can. but it barely budges an inch. Behind us, the static noise rings out again. My heart seems to shudder, and Marcus lets out a little whine. We're running out of time. We need to go, Marcus screams. Those things are getting closer every second. Well, there's only 3 people working on it, and I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but there's a girl, like, Amy's there, and she probably doesn't have as much strength as a guy, and it sounds like a pretty heavy door. I'm not trying to be sexist or anything, but honestly, they need as much help as they can. It won't make a difference, he says. We shut up and help us, and we'll find out, I shout. Reluctantly, Marcus walks over and grasps the door. We all groan as we strain to pull. It starts inching slowly and then begins moving steadily. Once we get it started, it slides easily. As we near the hole, closing off the hallway between us, I think I can see the merest glimpse of an odd illuminated shape in the darkness. It's cut off by the slight thump of the hydraulic door being pushed against the frame in the opposite wall. Amy turns the lock into place. Great, now let's haul ass, says Marcus. We all turn and get moving again, still feeling unsure about our prospects. The fact that yet another shrill noise sounds out somewhere else in the facility is not calming. And then there are 2 of them. It's almost as though they're calling out to one another. The doors to the hangar sit up ahead like the entrance to some enormous labyrinth. When we reach the hangar doors, I get a true sense of how impenetrable they are. A computer terminal is mounted on the wall nearby with a blinking red light. Any idea what this means? I ask. It's an automatic lock, a fail-safe from the lockdown, Amy says. I've never been down here before, Marcus says. If I had known this door was here, I would have opened it earlier. How? Amy asks. The fear in her voice is more present than ever. From the command center, he says. You need to override it from there first, then use this terminal to open the hangar doors. The command center on the 2nd floor, I ask. Yeah. Amy shakes her head and lets out a nervous laugh. Are you kidding? She asks. We were just pulled that hydraulic door and blocked off the hallway, remember? If you want to get into the hangar, we have to go back to the command center, Marcus says. Isn't there another way? Turning to Marcus, Amy replies, well, there is another elevator, but we need to go through the biochem storage. I need to stay with Dennis so he can rest, I say. You 2 go. You know your way around this place, and you know the controls, Marcus. Fine, Marcus says, but we'll need to be armed. I'm not trusting Marcus at the moment because of him being so don't shut the door, and then saying he could have unlocked it back when they're up at level 2. It's just a little bit too either convenient or inconvenient, so I'm not going to give Marcus the gun. So I'm going to give Amy the gun. You gave Amy the gun. I hand Amy the rifle and she turns to go. Marcus gives me a concerned look but follows along behind her. Once Amy and Marcus make it a good distance down the hallway, Dennis lets out a nervous laugh. And then there were 2, he says. Dennis looks much better, but he still needs to use the wall to stay standing. Didn't Amy say that there were guns and emergency kits in the maintenance room near the hangar doors, I asked. Yeah, I think so, Dennis says, looking exhausted. I look ahead and see a door to the right that reads maintenance. Might as well give it a try. I go to the door and find out it's locked. In the very first chapter, there was something that happened to me, and I have a sore shoulder, I think. So, it's either a sore shoulder or a sore leg. I'm not too sure. Kick it. I give a frustrated kick. It doesn't budge. When I'm about to try again, that's when I hear a gunshot from just down the hallway. My first thought is that Amy and Marcus have come upon one of those things, one of the monsters. But I don't hear any of the strange static sounds I've come to associate them with. Alarm bells go off in my head before I know it, and I'm heading back down the hall, away from the hanging doors. Stay here, I'll be right back, I whisper over my shoulder to Dennis. See if you can figure out how to get into the maintenance room. Where are you going? He asks. I don't bother answering him as I bound through the door to where Amy and Marcus went. Intense. Okay. As I enter the biochem room and start walking between the massive silos, I wonder what classified chemicals could be inside of them. I'm fully expecting one of Amy's creatures to come flying out from the intersection of the halls up ahead. I think I overhear a voice, a woman's voice. It's Amy. Stop. Let go of the gun. I run ahead so fast I always trip over two people in a life or death struggle. My mind tries to process what I am seeing, but it makes no sense. None at all. Marcus is wrestling with Amy, trying to take her gun away. When this doesn't work, he throws her to the ground and starts choking her. Her face is turning purple and her eyes look like they might pop out of her head. Marcus sees me coming out of the hallway and acts as if what he is doing is perfectly normal. Stop him. There's no point in asking. Amy could be dead by the time you get a decent answer out of him. He's obviously lost his mind. I start rushing towards him before I really know what I'm doing. I bring a fist down hard in an arc across the bridge of his nose, and I am rewarded with a sick cracking sound. He cries out as he falls to the ground, looking at me as if he doesn't understand why I punched him. On the floor, Amy clutches her neck and gasps for breath. I start to fear that I was a moment too late as I see that the rifle has been thrown across the floor. Marcus seems to notice this, and at the exact time we move for the rifle. Hit him. I deliver a surprisingly strong blow with my right hand, clipping his chin from my awkward position, in the process of planting a knee in his chest to hold him down when his left foot comes out of nowhere, landing hard. The kick catches me squarely in my ribs, knocking the breath out of me. What the hell are you doing? He yells at me. By killing her, I'm saving us. All of this was her fault. I sense that he truly believes this, and if that's the case, then why not just attack her when we were all together? The answer is simple. We might have stopped him. He wanted to kill her in private. And then what? Would he have finally done the same thing to Dennis and me? Seems fitting. Really, when we first came upon Marcus, he'd held the gun on us. I'd been so relieved to see another human being that I'd never underestimated just how unhinged he was. Marcus and I both dive for the rifle, still laying on the floor, and start wrestling for possession. I'm not confident I'll come away with it. As we struggle, he starts inching the muzzle of the gun towards my face, a position I do not want to be in, and I start pushing back hard. As we struggle, but if this thing accidentally fires, I'm not sure where I prefer the bullet to go, especially in this room full of chemical tanks. Force muzzle towards tanks, force muzzle towards Marcus. Forcing it towards the tank, we don't know what's in the tank, we don't know what the tanks will do. So, and honestly, if Marcus was to die, I don't think I would care right now, because I'm pretty sure he doesn't come up to the communications room or whatever with us, so I'm just going to point it towards Marcus. I grunt as I push the muzzle to point towards his face, realizing he's literally looking down the barrel of the gun. Marcus ducks his head out of the way. This makes him lose leverage, allowing me to yank the gun from his grip. I get to my feet quickly as I can, swinging the rifle back around on him. For a moment, I think I've knocked him out, but his eyes flutter and he looks at me as if I've betrayed him. Her people, he says. It was them that did this. She deserves to die. She did this. I look to Amy and I wish I could help her. I am relieved to see that she has managed to draw in a few breaths. Her legs move as she tries to push herself into a sitting position. You wouldn't know, Marcus says. You didn't work here under their secrecy. You don't know what it's like to. He surprises me by lunging towards me, leaping from the floor like a human projectile. I don't have time to aim carefully, but I have to react fast. I don't know whether I want to shoot him or whether I want to try to dodge him. Because he's fast, and I don't seem like I'm the fastest person in the world, so I think trying to dodge would be a fail, and it sounds like I get into another wrestle. And then at the same time, if I feel like I shoot him, I don't think I'll actually shoot him. I feel like I'll miss. But then that's the case if I do shoot him. But there's also no point on me having such an unstable person. Like, I understand the strength in numbers, but it's the quality, not quantity. And I'm not trying to say that people have a certain, like, some people are better than others, but the quality of his decision making is really doubtful right now, and I don't know if having someone like that is helpful and productive in a situation like this. And you know, I don't even think that this decision is going to be very important. I don't think it's going to be one of those ones that makes that dramatic noise and then says you have chosen to dodge or you chose to shoot him. I don't feel like it's going to be a major decision, but at the same time, in my head, it is a big decision whether I shoot him or whether I try to dodge. Because of this, I'm going to choose to shoot him. Because I have a feeling I'm going to miss anyway. But I feel like trying to dodge was going to cause more trouble than it was worth. Of course, it wasn't an actual decision. I react before thinking, my muscles take over and my finger squeezes the trigger. The blast is deafening. I watch as Marcus falls to the ground. A terrified thought races my mind. Some of those things are here, and they didn't know where we were before. They sure as hell do now. Marcus falls to the floor, and I see right away that I shot him in the shoulder. His right arm dangles loosely, already covered in blood. He rolls in pain on the floor. Only after a few moments, I realize that they are not purely screams of pain. The bastard is calling for them, calling for those creatures to come for us. This place is evil, along with everyone involved, he wails on the floor. If you are taking her side, then you deserve to die too. If you want to stop me, you better do it now, you coward. The rage in his eyes at Amy, as well as towards me for stopping him, makes me think he'd deliver on this threat. I raise the rifle again, every urge in my body wanting to make sure he doesn't come back to bite us. I am not a violent man, but I could easily not kill him and just leave him behind. This, I think, is the decision that actually matters, whether to kill Marcus or let him live. Because he feels like the kind of person that has nothing to lose, so he would sacrifice anything to make us pay for it. But I don't believe... But it's like, I feel like if I choose to kill Marcus, it's going to be going against Roger's morals, like before. But if I let Marcus live, what he will do... And then I must consider what Amy will consider me as, like, what she will think of Roger if he kills Marcus. And, like, what if in the future we actually need Marcus, but Marcus seems like he's too far gone. If I was in this situation, if I literally got thrown into this situation, I would kill Marcus. So that's what I'm going to do. I aim for his head and start to squeeze the trigger, but I can't complete the motion while I'm looking at him. I close my eyes tight and squeeze the trigger, the muzzle bursts and I hear Marcus crumple on the floor. It's not for another 10 seconds or so that I realize I've been standing still, frozen, with my eyes closed and teeth clenched. I try to avoid looking at Marcus's body and instead lean down to Amy. "You okay?" I ask. She nods slowly. "Have to go," she says, her voice raspy. "They'll be here any minute. too much noise. I have to hold her so she can get to her feet. And we start forwards when I think of Dennis. We should go back to the hangar doors. I can't just leave Dennis there. There's no time, Amy says. You need to come with me to the command center now. We'll be back for him soon. I stare at Marcus's dead body for a moment, trying to comprehend the fact that my own hands caused him to die. It is a turning point in my life that I will never recover from. There's no time to weigh it now. As I look at him, another high-pitched static sound rings out from elsewhere. It's louder, more ferocious. Amy takes off, presumably towards the other elevator she had mentioned moments ago. As we move out, I look back once more at Marcus's body, motionless. We start running, and after the first few strides, another noise sounds out. Its noise is mechanical, but at the same time, it also reminds me of the recordings I've heard of whale songs. A sound of metallic creaking and crashing echoes through the door I came through. They've reached the hydraulic door we pulled, Amy says, confirming what I've been thinking. The sound grows louder, and it's clear that they're struggling with it, which is good. We have a bit more time. I speed up my step to follow Amy as she leads the way to the other elevator. She's panting furiously but pushes on. I can hear something rattling in her breath, likely the result of Marcus's attack. It makes me imagine how his cold, uncaring eyes must have looked, looking down at her as he tried to deliver her to her death. How she is still forging on is beyond me. I'm sorry about Marcus. It's not your fault, she interrupts. At least you handed me the gun. I just hope we can find a way to survive this mess. I think that's sort of a thing that you don't need to sort of say anything to, so I'm just going to be quiet. We both keep our eyes fixed and straight on ahead, better to stay focused. We finally come to the elevator at the end of a row of silos. The elevator doors slide open slowly. At that moment, we hear something behind us. A strangled sort of whistling sound. We step inside and turn around to face the biochem room. Thankfully, we've been given a few moments to spare. The elevator doors remain open for 3 seconds before they start to slide closed. In those 3 seconds, I see a large shape floating towards us. A phosphorescent light, like white glow, outlines an impossible shape. The third one breaks away from the other two, taking a quick right. It moves with eerie speed. They are heading in the direction of Marcus's body. Honestly, the thought of them feasting on his corpse doesn't bother me in the slightest. Amy is pressing the button to close the elevator doors over and over, but they stay open for what feels like eternity. I curse whoever designed those damn doors. Shooting, you're just gonna waste, like getting ready to shoot, but if you're in the elevator, hide inside the elevator. Probably a bad decision. Amy and I slide ourselves up against the sides of the elevator, trying to avoid being seen. I can't peek around the corner. I hold the rifle steady, ready to fire, and that's when I see it in a clear light for the first time. I can see their features, their shape, their colours, but my mind can't quite process it at all. Nothing about them makes any sense. My eyes try to see a squid, but that's not what these things are. They are grey and white and seem to be nothing more than a squirming line. Their appendages are neither legs nor tentacles, but somewhere in between. They don't walk on these appendages. They just seem to glide. They move more like growths and seem to jerk every feet or so, and I'm pretty sure that this jerking effect is not a result of their moving, but my mind's inability to comprehend how they are moving exactly. It's also more than their appearance that makes a mockery of reality. The light around them seems to bend inwards, as if the space within the room has to reshape itself for their existence. That particular effect on the air makes their movements seem like everything moving underwater, only faster. They screech in unison as they rush towards the elevator. They'll be inside here in another few seconds. I check the rifle and see my ammo is diminishing. I have to start saving my shots. I'm going to have to be choosy. I think it doesn't matter whether you choose to shoot or not. I think they don't get to you. So I'm gonna not shoot and say, that's not good. They keep advancing. Even though I know the doors may not close in this time, I manage to keep my cool and avoid firing any more rounds. My finger itches to pull the trigger, but I resist. I'm not even sure if a gun would affect them. Finally, the elevator door closes. The creatures wash against one another of the door, against the other side of the door, making an electrical noise that is crying out in anger. The tips of their spider-like appendages poke through the wall of the elevator door, but for some reason they can't get all the way through. Amy screams at this and curls into a ball in the far corner of the elevator, crying. I say nothing to her. I just cling to the rifle, hoping those creatures don't find Dennis as he waits by the hangar doors where I left him. For his sake or ours, we need to get them open now. Okay, so that's the end of chapter 3. Yay! It's so intense. Really intense. Wow. The blunt truth. You and 59% of players told Dennis he'd be fine. Slow them down. You and 35% of players decided with Amy on pulling the hydraulic door. Who to trust? You and 69% of players gave the gun to Amy. Murder or mercy? You and 42% of players killed Marcus. Ooh. Now or later, you and 68% of players conserved your bullets for later instead of shooting the creatures. Okay, so wow, I just need to say that chapter, oh my god, it makes me think so much behind what is going on and just everything that this whole story behind it has, like the futuristic questioning on the ethics of this type of scientific experimentation and its results and its purpose is absolutely, it blows my mind. And the storytelling behind this story, like behind the story and it being interactive, is absolutely so intriguing, and I enjoy it so much, and I'm really happy with a lot of my things. And I was kind of surprised that in Murder or Mercy, you and 42% of players killed Marcus. I'm surprised that that is an actually small percentage. I'm quite surprised that more people didn't choose to let him live. Which makes me think, am I overthinking my decisions? Or am I just overthinking the decisions that don't matter? But either way, wow, that is amazing. I love this so much. I might try and record chapter 4 tomorrow, but I've already done 2 recordings of this today. And wow, there's 5 chapters, so this is I'm going up to the second last chapter, and just wow, everything I have to say about this game, this interactive story, is amazing, and I am enjoying it so much. So guys, if you enjoyed the video, please drop a like, hit subscribe, and even turn on notifications. So thank you guys for watching, and I'll see you next time.